Sexualization of our children is the topic today. Serious topic.
Yes, it is. We're going to be talking about the movie Cuties and everything else in media in Hollywood happening. We have John Paul Rice, who's a film producer, going to be joining us.
Yes. Also, we have Kay for Kara. She's actually in town. We join us in studio and maybe giving a different perspective that you may not be used to hearing. So,
oh, great. Here we go.
Here we go. Guys, stay tuned. Share this now. Get it out there. We'll see you in a minute. Don't go anywhere.
You are listening to Awaken Atlanta on the UI Media Network, a conscious way to start your day. Get ready to welcome the awesome duo, the uncensored and bubbly Shannon McVeigh, and the conscious voice of the South, Tim Ray, as they add a conscious twist to any and everything around you. So fasten your seatbelts, get ready for a ride around the Big Peach while we awaken Atlanta.
Welcome to Awaken Atlanta. I'm Tim Ray, your host, along with the one and only Shannon McVeigh.
Good morning.
Who's very bubbly today, but I think this is going to be a hard show for you.
I think so, too, and that's why it's not letting me share it.
Well, you share
it's
it.
It's just energy putting out there. All
well,
right.
Guys, this is we have an incredible guest. Of course, John Paul Rice. He's a Hollywood producer. He'll be calling in, zooming in today. He's actually in Atlanta doing a film, which I'm very excited about. And of course, Kay for Kara, you're gonna love her. I think she's here in Atlanta right now, and she'll be coming in studio talking about her perspective, which I think may be a little bit different than John Paul's.
Coming in studio. Okay, so you say it like that. What does that mean?
It means that she.
Are we gonna let her talk, or you want to like give us a little heads up?
Well, let her
Just
talk.
give us a little heads
I think
up.
you know she is on Instagram, right? Check her out, Kay for Kara, and she could be very provocative in what she wears and doesn't wear. So I think she's going to have.
So she supports children being
no,
provocative?
Absolutely not. I don't think that at all. I'm just saying, but she probably has a different perspective. You know, some people don't take being naked as severe as others. You know, they see it more as more of a natural thing. But when you bring children into play and you knowing what's going on with this satanic agenda, it's a whole nother story. So.
Okay, well, you keep talking while I'm trying to get this done. I'm literally pulling a U right now.
There you go. Why? That's
Tell me
terrible.
what you're doing this weekend.
What am I doing this weekend? This weekend is going to be rainy, actually.
Is it all weekend?
No, I don't think so.
I'm loving this weather, guys. We're having a hurricane. Well, I mean, we don't really.
A hurricane. That's about right. A hurricane. I love that. That's the new name, new term. All right, having a hurricane.
I did it.
All right. So, you did it. You sure did. So, so tell me some more, Shannon. What do you got going on?
So, if you guys are local to Atlanta, we're getting a little bit. Would you consider this a tropical storm? No, right? But it has been raining for, like 15 hours.
Yes, about 15 hours.
So,
yes.
And it's not going to stop.
Yes.
And I don't know what's going on in the Gulf. Have we looked?
I think it's actually was down. Wasn't it moving off to the left? You know, going west. Young man,
don't know.
Wasn't doing that? No.
I don't know.
We have a weather update, Tommy. You going to give that to us or what?
I can't hear anything, Matt.
Yeah.
This is a good morning.
I know, right?
Oh, all right. I'm just going to get into it now. Now I'm here. So
right.
Robert's on. He says, good morning, Tim, and hey, Shannon.
Robert says, you speak of my aspect of childhood, one I do not wish to remember. You know, hey, guys, and one thing I will say, and I think we should say this now, because this actual show can be very triggering for people and for folks who have not, who have had these, maybe sexual abuse in their life and may not be used to talking about this, especially when you see this video, Cuties. Oh, my God. Did you see the movie?
I'm not going to watch something, and I don't think you as a grown man should watch it either.
Okay, so you're going to speak on the topic today, not seen it.
Okay, are you going to speak on the topic of child pornography without watching it? Are you going to speak on the topic of, are you going to try heroin to know it's bad? Like, that's asinine. You are what's wrong with the world if you really believe that.
Okay.
That's what so many people are saying. They're like, oh, you just got to watch the movie. You just got to watch it yourself. Like, you don't need to watch child porn to know it's not right.
Okay. So, so I could take that you didn't see it.
Oh, I can hear now. No.
Okay, you didn't watch any of it. All you saw was a clip of it, and that was enough for you.
Well,
which is fine. I'm not saying you need to.
I read a synopsis from a news source that I really trust and respect, and she broke it down. It's disgusting. Okay. They show a little like 9-year-olds. Like, no, I refuse to even post what you made, and you were like, share it. I'm like, absolutely not. I'm not going to share it. That's promoting it. That's just as bad as watching the freaking movie because you're seeing
Shannon,
these babies gyrating on stage.
Okay, Shannon, I hear what you're saying. I think you have a point there. However, at the same time, for some people to understand the level of if it is sexual exploitation,
but you don't need to know that. You know that without seeing it.
Okay, but I'm saying for some people to understand, like for example, the satanic abuse that goes on. If you don't understand hear these children share with you what they actually go through, you don't really get the full essence of what horrific experience it is. So sometimes you got to see it to believe it. You know?
Oh God, I don't need to see it to believe it.
Well, you don't, but others perhaps do. People who perhaps were on the fence saying, "Oh, it's probably not that bad. It's on Netflix. Come on, how bad can it be?" Right? But when you watch it, you know, and you're like, "Whoa, this is pretty out of the park here."
Yeah.
So people have a chance to compare, and if you have nothing to compare to other than taking other people's words,
I think it's very worldly way of thinking. That's a very worldly way of thinking, in my opinion.
And I don't know if that's a compliment or a slam. So
it's not a compliment.
So it's a progressive, left wing progressive way of thinking. You're saying. I
just feel like it's what you're saying is that's what a lot of people. That's their biggest argument. It's like, oh, you need to watch it yourself. This is a film. I don't know, the French lady who made it. She's won all these awards. Like. It's bringing awareness. Oh, come on. It's not. I don't think we need to do that. You know what you need to do to bring awareness? You guys see it every day. Why don't you ask grandpa to stop molesting your kid? Bring awareness that way. Or let the rest of the family know. Bring awareness that way. But we don't. We just stay behind it and we pretend that we're something we're not. I'm just so sick of it.
Well, listen, the Netflix is in a lot of heat right now. I mean,
by the way, this is going to be my conspiracy side.
Yeah.
What if Netflix is now in the heat? They're saying cancel Netflix, boycott Netflix because they came out with that show, Social Dilemma. And have you guys heard about Social Dilemma?
No, but how they're manipulating people?
Yes, and they're admitting that Facebook basically, you guys are all puppets by Facebook. So I'm wondering if that pissed off Netflix. I'm that pissed off Facebook and stuff, and that's why they started the whole boycott Cuties.
Wow, Shannon, you go right down that rabbit hole these days. That's very well thought conspiracy. You just
never know.
My God. Well, congratulations. Taking that next level there. Trust no one and vet everything.
Vet everything. All right. Let's read some comments because we already got them.
All right, but I do want to share my perspective because I didn't watch the full movie. I kind of screened through it just because it was a long, boring, stupid movie. But I got an essence of what they're talking about.
Oh God, that makes me a little uncomfortable that you watched little girls gyrating.
Well, and they did actually, and the filming of it, I'll tell you in a minute, was pretty.
Where are those people's parents? Where are those little girls' parents? Those actor stars? Where are the parents?
Okay, read some comments, then I'll get into what I've seen.
Billy said, "Cuties is not child porn." Stacy said it's close enough. Allison said it's not far from it. Stacy said Europe has laxer ideals when it comes to children.
Come on, they do. Europe does, yeah.
Billy says, Everybody's naked on the beach in Europe. Thrown at me. I got to call in. Doug says, just because people need to see it doesn't make it okay for you to step into the demonic sin. Our spirit lets us know it's sin. Check your heart. Amen. Yes. Yes.
All right.
Tommy says the kid actors are 11 years old in the film. Actually, they're 9 to 11. 9 years old to 11. Stacy says, I'm intentionally messing with Facebook algorithms. I'm hiding ad posts, etc., and randomly picking reasons why. Go. Way to stick it to the man. Robert says, where are the parents? Taking the money to the bank.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'll tell you what. It was definitely, from my perspective, what I saw of it was it definitely exploited the children in the sense of the camera person was just focused so much on these what, 9, you said 9 years old?
9 to 11.
9 to 11-year-old butts, their body, everyone had half shirts. I mean, and they're all
You see a 9-year-old's boobs.
Yeah, actually did.
You're supporting child pornography, Billy. I'm surprised that you don't think that's messed up.
Hold on. Was that was clarified that was a true 9-year-old? Doesn't matter, but he portrayed to be one. Wow. You saw they did.
That's freaking desensitizing you to be more accepting of child pornography by hiding behind but we're getting out the awareness.
But see, I looked for the awareness, right? And I didn't see anything until the very end when she decides to want to go back to jumping rope like a little 9-year-old kid's supposed to be doing after she had this
After
adult
they
experience.
desensitize you, right?
After they had this adult experience in the gyrating and in the dancing and the the people trying to sexualize them. But I tell you what, I found so concerning. There was a couple of moments in there. This is outside of the actual physical, exploitation of them sexually, was the responses to some of the kids, and I think we'll talk about that when John comes on and K for Kira comes on, because it was interesting how they were learning so quickly to make everything a sexual experience,
right?
And how to talk to people and adults on a sexual level.
If you're a parent, teach your children that they don't need to dress like harlots to get attention from men, right?
Well,
it's perfecly fine for an adult to dress like that, or a 20-year-old to dress like that.
A year ago, Shannon, you were talking about Madonna. Who was Madonna? It was Beyonce, J-Lo, or whoever doing a strip.
It wasn't a striptease. She was on the
pole. Whatever it was.
She was. It was for the Super Bowl.
Okay, so hold on. Okay, so for a year ago, what's her name was on the pole, right? On the Super Bowl, and you were like, "Oh, it was very artistic. It was very," and you and millions of others. I'm not saying you're the only one.
Shakira, it's her culture.
Yeah. But you see how the culture of that desensitization is created from the adults, and why would not the kids try to mimic that if people like J-Lo and everyone else are getting attention?
Well, that's the thing. That's what we need to pay attention to. When the little girls were on Cuties, when they're on the floor banging it and their bodies are going up and down.
Yeah.
That's a famous TikTok. I think it's even from is it Cardi B or somebody? Who is that? Somebody. Where's the millennial?
Yeah. It's the WAP song.
The WAP song. Do you know what that stands for?
Without papers.
Wet A P.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh,
and she's like, and so these little girls are doing it, but that's why I think it's up to us as parents to really dictate what our kids are putting into their minds.
Well, I'll tell you what, I would not, if I had an 11-year-old daughter or 9-year-old daughter, I would never, ever, ever want them to see that movie. I mean, it was just because they did glorify a lot of it, and the camera work was just so. You felt like you were at a strip club, man.
See, how are you saying that's okay to bring awareness that way?
I'm not saying that's okay to bring awareness. I'm just giving you my perspective of it. I think it's. I don't think now I could say my perspective now because I did see it. You never saw it.
But you went down the rabbit hole of watching child pornography.
Okay, if you want to say that.
You saw a 9 to 11, 13. How old was she? Year-old's breast.
Yeah, I don't know.
As a grown man.
Yeah.
You saw that. That's you watched child porn.
So you know what? You can't deny that.
Yeah.
That's now on Netflix, and they're promoting that. Because millions of others.
But does that make you change your opinion a little bit?
Well, I mean, I already had an opinion ahead of time. This confirms my opinion even further. How far we have gone in society off the deep end, and I don't think it's been. And guys, it's a frog in the warm water. When you watch Beyonce and you watch all these J-Lo on the Super Bowl Sunday, everyone's watching. Your kids are watching it, and they're watching these guys on the poles. And you and many others think that it's okay because they're just showing their sexuality.
No,
but hold on. But coming from an adult perspective, it is legal, but at the same time, these people our children are modeling these folks out there, and if you don't condemn that, then it's kind of hard now not to see this one coming. How could you not see 9, 10-year-olds? Because I am sure it's not just in this movie. I am sure right now, as we're speaking, there are groups of 9 to 11-year-old kids, girls or boys, who are practicing these type of sexual dances and the sensation of trying to be an adult sooner than they really ever be thinking about. I mean, were you thinking about that at 9, 10, 11?
No, I didn't. I thought that you couldn't get fingered or else you'd get pregnant. So I was going to be a nun. Like, honestly, I was going to be a nun my entire life. I didn't know.
God, the world would be a better, safer place or a worse place if you were a nun. I don't know. Would we all go to hell if she was a nun, or what would happen?
All right, Brett says you guys created your own culture, then sent it out to the rest of the world. That's interesting.
America.
You think America was leading the way there?
So you think Iraq got it right? America, the great Satan?
I don't know if America started it. I mean, because don't you see in Europe videos and billboards of naked women selling things.
Yeah, but it's a little more, they're a little more mature about it. You know, Americans are just like instantaneous gratification, and they don't realize that can't see 7 days in front of them. They see as far as the Super Bowl on Sunday or the football on Sunday. They can't see 7, years in front of them. They're not like the old Native American days where people would make decisions 7 generations that would affect 7 generations in front of them.
Billy said, I never saw any breasts except for the 17-year-old. Still gross. 17, still child. How do
you know she was 17, Billy?
We don't. I don't know.
She looked like she was like 10.
Yeah. Robert says, the little brains are overwhelmed by the intensity of the sexual experience. I know I was overwhelmed the last time I was in 3rd grade. And I kind of agree with that. They are overwhelmed. I can't even, in what they hear, even with their friends, even if you're parenting your child, there's still going to be other children that's going to be an influence on your child, because your child can't live under a rock. You got to have faith. That's where you got to have faith in God, though. God loves our kids so much more than we do. So if we just keep doing our job and vibrating higher, like Jessica we had on our show, then we'll just be invisible. Let's just be invisible.
Well, so that's really taken off. What's the latest with Netflix? What are they doing? So apparently they're showing it still.
Ashley, can you get the news for me for the good news segment and how much money Netflix lost? Well, but they lost something like I want to say some insane amount, like 8 times the amount.
You guys, Netflix is owned, I'm sure, by the cabal, and the cabal has.
Who owns Netflix?
I'm sure it's all related to Google, all the rest of all this whole cabal, this group of Satanists, this Luciferian group, have all the money in the world. Basically, they could. So the New York Times is losing its butt every day, but it still thrives because they don't care about making money. It's not about making money. It's about getting their agenda across. And if you could break down a society on especially sexualizing their children, what do you call that? Before they become pre-adolescent, whatever, to break down a society to that level, they're going to do it. So it's not about money. Everyone says, "Oh, it's all about money." No, it's probably ice on the cake that they make money at the same time breaking down a society, especially sexualizing kids. But it's not about the money. Honestly, it's about their agenda of turning children into this pedophilia world, I believe.
I'm sorry, I just laughed. I was thinking because I'm reading my notes.
Yeah.
And it's like sexualized clothing, like sexy Halloween costumes for kids. And I laughed because I remember one year I was the sexy devil and I was like in 3rd grade and my sister was a cocktail waitress in 5th grade. Like, good job, Mom. Good job parenting. Mandy had her little mini skirt on with a cocktail waitress. Like, what? What the hell? But that
explains a lot.
Yeah, but it is something like, okay, a sexy Halloween costumes for children. When did you start, Ashley? When did you start wearing sexy Halloween costumes? When you were like, how old?
I actually love dressing up as like bloody, morbid things, so I never was really into that.
She's so rad. What about you, Tim? When was your last sexy Halloween costume?
I don't think I even started yet.
You don't want to talk about it?
Yeah, if I had something to share. I don't think it's sexy is in my portfolio. So
wait. Tommy says our younger gene is completely fed. You got girls like in the show dancing on TikTok sexually. TikTok was put in place to desensitize all of us.
Hey, I should put the air
I
down.
don't even have TikTok.
Thanks.
Do you?
No.
I mean, I thought didn't they end TikTok because something with the communism, China, and all that stuff?
Yeah, you don't know what to believe, but all I know is that listen, first communism, this KGB guy, and guys, if you haven't seen the David Icke show we did yesterday, please go back and watch that. It's growing. We got to get a lot more shares out of it. He explains why and how this all is occurring right now, and why basically they're sexualizing our children because of this destabilization. They first demoralize a country. This is KGB said. This is what they do. They come demoralize it by sexualizing children, making everything just whatever, immediate gratification, no consequence to your actions. And then they destabilize a country, then they create the crisis, and then they normalize it.
So let's
which
time
is the,
out. Do you see that you're playing your part into desensitizing people by saying that you watched it for awareness?
No, that's like saying a reporter is going to report on the BLM, and he's part of the BLM. So no, I don't.
It's not.
Yes, it is.
It's like saying I need to do more research on child pornography to make sure that it's inappropriate.
I disagree. I think it's part of your journalism.
Do you
have to know what you're talking about.
Do you think that you
otherwise you get very black and white and extreme beliefs?
Do you think that you need to shoot up heroin to know that it's bad?
No, that's the more physical harming.
Okay,
now,
this is harming.
Psychologically, yes, which could lead to physical. Yes, I get that, but But from a perspective of watching it to be able to talk about it, I think it's not I don't think it's at all exploiting it. I think it's actually you're able to get your perspective on it so you can speak on what you believe to be. And I tell you what, I think it was not only a stupid movie, and and you could tell it was all dubbed because it wasn't speaking that same language, right? I guess it was a French movie in French. But on top of that, it was boring, and then it was just blatant, I would say, gratuitous sexualization of the kids.
And I want to say that it's more than that. I don't think that it was just some stupid movie. I think that it's dangerous, and please don't watch it, and don't allow your children to watch it, and don't bring awareness. Don't post promo videos of the little girls twerking.
So you think
that's that's exposing it. That's still desensitizing the world. I think that's not doing your part.
Okay, so you think that people don't have the right to be able to
I think that
watch that. You should censor that. That should be censored. So you believe in you should believe in censorship then?
Of children pornography, abso-freaking-lutely.
All right, okay.
You don't?
I do, of course I do on that.
Oh my gosh.
But don't you think that kind of danced on the fence of child pornography, or you think that's blatant child pornography?
When you see a child's boobs, it's child pornography. When you see a child putting her hands between her legs and bending over, which we all see, we've all seen it all over the freaking news, it's everywhere. That's child pornography. I don't think it's okay.
All right. Well,
and I think that it's up to us, the strong ones out there, to put our foot down and say, no, we don't need to watch this for awareness. That's a lousy excuse to support this.
So what's your take on how the media is supporting it right now? Because the media, I mean, if you go listen to some of the comments from some of these top line media outfits, or I don't say top mainstream, which are really corrupted ones, but they're saying that it's great. It's everybody should watch it. What's your take on the media's responsibility?
I don't think that the media is saying that as much.
They are saying that.
Like where? I think that it's actually getting a lot of heat, and I'm really proud. Like, well, from what
Netflix is still showing it.
Right, but Netflix is. Do you know people have boycotted Netflix?
Do you have some of the articles be written about it when it first came out? How they were really supporting some top line magazines and newspapers.
Julie says, "I won't watch it. I can't believe it's still streaming."
Tommy?
No, well, they said I can try to find it for you, but they said it was a award-winning film. Tom.
Yeah, and don't be surprised when Hollywood makes this the Academy Award winner. All right.
Oh
don't
my
be surprised.
Gosh.
That's how lost those guys are.
I mean, it's in plain sight, though. This is the thing; they're doing it in plain sight.
No, that is part of the satanic agenda. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So, do you think this is?
I think this is a push to that edge. Yeah, and I think that this is one more step towards the blatant potential pedophilia world. That do you know? Hey, did you research that, Ashley? The California, if they passed a pedophilia law?
What's the pedophilia law? Are you talking about the law that you can have sex with somebody 10 years younger?
24-year-olds could have sex with 14-year-olds.
Yeah.
Did anybody verify that?
They're saying it's yes, it's verified. They're saying
no. Was it passed by the House? Hold on, was it passed for the House and Senate and the governor, or was it just the House passed it? Because it's not a law yet. If only the House passed it. Anybody get a verification on that? Anybody out there? Let's find out. Because if that's the case, California potentially passed a law that 24-year-old people can have sex with 13, 14-year-old kids.
It's disgusting. Because they're saying as long as it's consensual. Let me tell you, 13, 14, 15, I have a 16-year-old daughter. She doesn't know which way is up. Come on. They don't know if their brains are not developed. Their hormones are all over the place. We're not protecting our children. We're not doing our due diligence as adults to protect our children. And that's what's wrong. And that's why I think I'm just a little... Okay, so I'm going to be real. I posted on my social media, guys, we're going to be talking about Cuties tomorrow. Let me know if you have any concerns, thoughts, questions. Do you know how many emails I got of people saying it brought awareness and that it's good and it's good perspective? And those are all... And I'm sorry, I'm going to put this together. Most of them are like far left, BLM, looters, protesters, people. And then the people that were appalled are like Republican. Like, I'm sorry, I can't help but put this together. It was just weird. I'm like, what the heck? So there is a difference. Of course, there's still some, like I have a dear, dear Democratic friend who I love.
You think the lines are being drawn on politics on Cuties? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. I think politics is taking over everything.
I think they're trying to make it. I think the mainstream media are trying to make it take over everything so they divide more people and people.
I think if you're out there supporting these looters and BLM and all this stuff, then of course you don't see what's wrong with Cuties.
It's like the LGBTQ organization where you can't really be part of the gay community unless you have to be a Democrat. You have to hate Trump. You have to you have to hate guns. I mean, all these criteria that's attached to it. And if you're a Republican gay person, gay woman or man, then you're considered kind of ostracized a little bit. I think that's kind of what you're saying is a very similar situation, which is stupid in itself and wrong because everyone should be their own independent-minded, critical thinking soul.
Unless it comes to children's protective, then we should all collectively protect the children. You don't have your rights.
Well, because they can't protect themselves.
Right. You have to be a voice for those who cannot speak, and it's important that we step up. All right, Doug said you desensitized your heart by watching it. It compromised your morals. Would you want people to watch it if your daughter was on it, or would you not want her to be exploited?
I'll tell you, it was hard to watch for me, certain scenes, and I'm like, and I'd fast forward it through that, and I'm like, I could see how people could be so disgusted by it. I really can,
Stacy said there's a scene where one of the girls uses the phone to take pictures of her private area. Claire says, you definitely don't need to watch it to know that it's wrong. Adding to its views and making it more popular. Billy responded to Stacey saying, yep, she does that, but she doesn't actually show the private part. Billy, so that's okay? Like, I'm really confused here. Corwin said if parents would not let the kids
Billy, you better
be
call
in the
and
pageant.
explain yourself.
I just don't, I'm surprised, Billy, of all people, and this isn't to, judge you.
You're judging all Democrats, and you're judging everybody, so you are judging people.
I am not judging all Democrats.
Carrie says, good morning. I agree with both of you. I see that's a very, get a whole dissonance, different thoughts in your head. Good for you, Carrie.
I am not judging Democrats.
Shannon's like one of those Southern girls. Bless your heart. Bless your heart.
It's not. I'm neither a Democrat nor Republican. Let me make that clear.
Really?
I'm just saying there's something to. I'm just saying the people that think these looting and riots are okay also think that Cuties is okay because it's good to bring awareness.
I guarantee you there are plenty of Democrats out there who do not think Cuties is okay. All right?
I agree.
And who also think the rioting and the BLM is ridiculous and dangerous.
So you're misusing my words.
I'm just pointing out your I don't know what's the word for that? It's not racism. It's more like is it just like
prejudice maybe?
Not only prejudice, I would say just like you're stereotyping extremely. How about that? Extreme stereotyping.
I don't know. I'm just saying it's weird to see the correlation is all.
All right. Netflix stock is down about 20, still around 490.
Wow. Okay. Robert
like
says,
you know what that means.
Robert says, I thought taking pictures of private parts was for masturbation.
Well, guys, when you see let's just say 9-year-olds, I don't know how old they were, couldn't have been more than 10, 11, right? And you're seeing them do these gyrations and you're seeing them acting like a stripper would at a strip club, if you ever gone to one. If you're seeing them mimicking that, it was like Pitch Perfect, rated Disney. I mean, but it's
okay. But do you not? It's like this is how I look at it.
But their talent wasn't singing.
You guys can.
It was acting like adults.
Kids can't. They can't let kids be kids yet. Let's make a Disney character bisexual. Let's bring out this movie Cuties where it's showing off children. Excuse me.
What are you playing? What are you playing on this? What's playing, Ashley? Okay. All right. There you go. All right, guys. What are you saying, Shannon? You forgot.
Yeah.
Okay. So the.
Oh yeah, I remember.
What?
And we're letting drag queens. It's like COVID's here. You can't do this, but yeah, it's so important to still let drag queens reach your children in libraries. How are we not seeing all of this perfect storm and what we're doing to our children?
Well, listen, I agree. I think it's much more organized, and this is just part of the whole situation from all the different varieties. From first you had gay, then you had the trans, then you had the people wearing diapers, and what do you call that? The furry people, whatever that is.
But that's still adult. If you're an adult and choose to do that, and you're not hurting a child exploiting a child,
don't you see how people mimic that? People see that. If that's what the new norm is,
a child should not see that, though, right?
But they are seeing it. They're seeing it every day. They have the internet.
That's why. Well, we got to go to break real quick. But when we get back, we have Tribe Time and
phone
calls.
Have
Billy calling in. We have Susan, I think, here. She's going to say her opinion, guys. If you guys are watching via Facebook, share this. Let's get the word out and keep telling us your opinions, no matter what.
Yeah, give us a call. 678-495-4345.
Hey guys, I'm Shannon McVeigh.
And I'm Tim Ray.
And we are Awaken Atlanta, here to invite you to the Red Pill Expo 2020.
At Jekyll Island this year in Georgia on October 10th and 11th. My God, guess what we're going to have there?
Like, huge speakers besides yourself. Tim Ray is going to be speaking. Also, Del Bigtree.
Yes, Edward Griffin. Alex
Newman.
Yes,
the guy that made the Plandemic movie.
Mickey. Shannon and I will be there. And the UI Media team. We're covering the whole event. And guess what I'm going to be talking about?
What?
What do I do every day?
Oh gosh, you're a truth seeker.
Yes.
Making the world a better place.
But I'm also going to be talking about waking up the masses, the sleeping masses. Everybody's wearing masks in their sleep. We're going to wake you up.
All right, guys, so Google Red Pill Expo and join us.
Join us and do not miss this event.
Together, us truth seekers will find out how the world really works.
It's that time again. Time to have fun, play games, and talk to your tribe. Whether you want to talk to a friend, need advice, or just want to connect, we got you. So what are you waiting for? It's time to win cool prizes. Pick up that phone and give us a call at 678-495-4345. Get ready to raise your vibe. It's tribe time.
Good morning.
Boy, we got a storm going on.
We literally just, our electricity went away. We had a big lightning crash. Come on, let's.
Oh, there it is.
What?
Yeah.
I told you.
All right, so we have Susan Pierce with us right now.
Yes, this is Susan Pierce. She's going to tell us her opinions. And first of all, welcome to Awaken Atlanta.
But before you tell us your opinions, good morning. You got to speak into the mic, Susan.
Good morning.
No, move it over this way. There you go.
He loves touching people's mics.
Now, listen, we have a caller first. We'll take that, and then we'll get your opinion. All right,
Can
Susan?
she hear? Does she have headphones to hear? Okay. So
Tommy, you can help out a little bit too, you know?
Yeah, it's Billy. He's going to justify it.
I feel like
Let's
I know
hear what he says.
Just throw it to me here.
Let's hear it. Okay, but while we're getting this, Robert says, if you aren't making comments that pisses somebody off, you're not stretching yourself enough. Stacey says, hurry up, Shannon, because she probably thought I was going to the bathroom.
Yeah, take hers out.
Stacey said, as long as you're consenting adults, do what you want. That's mine. Why are you taking my thingy
Put yours
out?
in here, because she needs that for her.
Oh, my God.
So go ahead.
It's been, what a morning, guys. Sorry, we're amateurs. It's amateur hour here.
Yeah. All right. So, Billy, can you hear us?
I can. Good morning.
Billy, are you there? Billy, are you
I'm
there?
here.
All right, Billy.
Billy, you're teasing us right now?
No, I'm here. I'm right here. Can you hear me?
So have him call back in, or no, I don't hear anything.
I hear him.
You got to put my mic on. It is. It's in the third one now. It's the other one.
It is amateur hour.
I'll switch it with Shannon.
It is amateur. Woo! Are you guys sweating? Do you feel like we just ran a race? Anybody?
I know, right? All right. So what's Billy saying?
Bill, you can't hear him?
No.
He's not talking. That's why.
All right. You can hear me now, right?
Okay, Matt, you got to put my third headphone on, man.
Dude, it's not.
Yeah, it's plugged in.
Oh, that's mine. You just blasted.
Yeah. The other one. There you go.
Oh my gosh.
So talk to Billy. See what he has to say.
All right, go ahead, Billy.
Shannon, how you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good, and I learned a new term this week, and I want to know if you've heard of it. Have you ever? And I learned it from my daughter. Have you ever heard of throwing shade?
Yes.
What is that?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know what that meant.
That means I'm throwing shade to Cuties.
So, Billy, how do you feel, first of all, Shannon saying that you watched child porn by watching Cuties yesterday or whenever you watched it?
Well, I don't value anybody's opinion if they haven't even watched the movie themselves. You know what? I was one of the first one to come out throwing shade at this movie before it even came out. And you know what? I was going to do a video on Facebook, and I did. But first, I have to form an educated opinion, and I have to watch it. If I'm going to talk crap about this movie, I want to know everything that's in it. So put all the dancing and the provocative stuff in a box and put it to the side, because I didn't agree with that. I'm never going to watch the movie again. I'll say that for one. But what I got upset with was people boycotting Netflix over it, because the movie actually does tell a very emotional story. I don't know if you're aware of this, but the girl, the main character, she's Muslim.
Porn too. They have really good, really good segments in porn, right? I
don't know what your version of porn is, Shannon. I have a different version of porn than probably you do. But at the same time, she's growing up in a Muslim family, and her father is taking on a second wife that's almost as young as she is. And there's a lot of...
You're saying it's a cultural thing, a difference here.
Right.
But
she starts acting out.
Does it make that cultural normal for that culture? For young girls, 9, 10, 11?
I don't know what normal is except for my world.
What do you say?
I didn't like the movie as far as like all that stuff goes. But what I'm saying is the boycotting of Netflix, and Netflix even doubled down after they lost $9 billion. They're like, well, watch the movie.
Yeah, they don't care about money.
So, yeah, I know. So it's like, that's a drop in the pan for them.
All right, Billy, we got your point. We're gonna listen to what Susan has to say.
Yeah. Billy, let me ask you this, buddy, because I'm on a task force that literally goes and saves trafficked kids. So when you watch and you're on a platform such as Netflix, which is putting a platform of pedophilia, they are twerking in front of you, and you say, I don't want to hear your opinion unless you see it. As an ordained minister, I am not going to fill my mind with that crap. It is the most negative energy watching a young girl twerk. Why in the world would you want to give your energy? That gets into your subconscious. Whether you realize it or not, that is affecting your mindset.
Okay.
It's pedophilia, buddy. Pedophilia.
Can I respond to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, let's boycott Netflix. Let's go ahead and take it a step further. There's a little company called Spotify. They play songs by Cardi B and multiple other artists that sing about a lot of stuff that you don't want your kids listening to. Let's go ahead and boycott that company. And then while we're at it, let's go to YouTube. That's a small company, right? Let's go ahead and boycott that company, because you can type in the search bar teens twerking and see thousands of videos of girls in their bedrooms practicing their twerk moves. Let's go ahead and boycott that company. And then, just to add icing on the cake, there's a small company called Google, and they have a search bar, and you can find anything you want on Google.
All right, okay.
So if you're going to boycott Netflix, boycott everything.
Billy, they got your point. You guys want to respond before I do?
Yeah, I mean, at what point do you say this is enough? I mean, are you camping in Sodom and Gomorrah going, oh, it's so politically correct. I'm not going to do anything to boycott this. As a Christian, I'm going to boycott and use my money as power. And I am never going to say that a young girl, 12 to 14, twerking in a sexual manner, which is actually a pagan ritual, if you know what they're doing, they're invoking demonic spirits in their body. That is not okay to me. And as a Christian, you will never see me. I don't support YouTube. I don't support Google. I have had my Facebook disabled. I have had 50 death threats because I'm a pharmaceutical whistleblower. It is time to say, when is enough? I'm drawing the line. I'm not wearing a mask. I am not injecting my body with condom dots. I am not going to allow and regulify pedophilia. It is not okay. The Bible says, take off your sandals, dust your feet off, and keep walking.
Okay, so let me bring this point up, Billy, before you respond. So to Billy's point is, here it is, you got the major players out there, all either directly or indirectly supporting the sexualization of our children, and there's nowhere to go. I mean, if you don't go to Google or Facebook or YouTube, there's no other platforms to go to get your non-sexualization of the children content out there, right? So are we just as guilty supporting the sexualization of children if you're still on these programs, or you're saying that's just your right to want to boycott them?
Great question. What do you think? What is that, Billy? What do you think?
Well, you know what? Look, I just think that the moment we start boycotting things like Netflix, I have the right to choose and what I watch on Netflix. I pass by 1,000 movies all the time that I don't want to watch. That's my choice. Spotify,
but when you watch that,
YouTube, my choice.
When you watch that, though, you are bringing that into your subconscious. Like, why would you want to even watch that? Why would you even give a platform?
Because I want to know what my kids are looking at, and let me tell you why. number one rule of advertising, 101, go where the people are. You know where they're going right now? They're going to TikTok. They're going to YouTube.
Which
They're
is
going
owned by
to
China, which is giving you a backdoor to China.
Exactly. I think ultimately we're arguing the same point, just in different methods.
Yeah, I'm never going to regulate.
I'm glad this movie fits the world.
Okay, but let me throw one of a point out there right now, guys. Is censorship. You're being hold on, but you're being censored, Shannon. We're being censored, Susan. You're being censored on Facebook, and now it's selective censorship, but nevertheless, it's censorship. So, what about that avenue of if we're going to censor? Are you not selective? Are you not selective?
Children, it's not the same. We're all adults.
Okay, but this
it's
is my
different.
Okay, I believe you have the right to boycott anything you want. But if you want to pass laws, would you want to pass laws for Netflix not to be able to put movies like that out there? Would that be what you want to pass, Susan? Or would you want to just have the right to boycott that?
I want the right to boycott. I'm not going to try to tell other people how to live their lives, but I'm certainly not going to support my money or my spiritual energy into a platform like that.
But also, if you are watching child pornography, don't you have something to say to those people? You don't think that is like illegal and disgusting and disgraceful?
Have you played some videos? Anything yet?
But what I want to know, let me
what we're
ask
talking
you
about,
this.
pictures and things.
Why does Facebook, Twitter, and all these people sweep like hydroxychloroquine videos, but yet they are glorifying this Cuties video all over the place?
Oh, I can answer that one.
Go ahead.
Because there's a cabal, a Luciferian satanic cabal running this world who are trying to promote this sexualization of not only children, just of a populace, because they know this immediate gratification is a hollow pursuit and leads nowhere to your spiritual growth of a human being.
Yes.
So as they promote this and they distract everybody by this, they basically turn human angels into human devils, you know? And so
babies are so pure.
Yes.
So, but the point is, I see the bigger picture and I see what they're doing and why they're selectively censoring and why they're selective doing that. And if you get that, if you make decisions based on that perspective, like you're saying, then I understand that. But at the same time, there has to be a point where it's going to be a battle of morals, a battle of right and wrong, what you believe, because you're not going to force people to not be pedophiles. You can't. You're going to have to let them see the light not to be a pedophile. And unfortunately, if we're not in charge of our media, which we're not, because these dark forces are, then we're more likely to be subjected, like you said, subconsciously to that.
Look at that picture.
And you have to realize, too, they're trying to normalize this because, again, I told you I was on a task force. Y'all have no idea of the Hollywood people that have been arrested and indicted under house arrest. You know, Ellen's show was canceled. Oprah is under house arrest. Y'all don't realize this. They're in Epstein Island. Zuckerberg was on the flight
Do
list.
we really know that they're under house arrest? Like, I don't believe Epstein's dead. I think he's somewhere over probably in Israel right now, hiding out.
Before we get distracted, you guys, I want to read some of these because Stacey said the scenes were gratuitous and shot in a way that celebrated the sexualization of children.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. When I watch it, and I was able to see that. That's exactly, it was over and over sends gratuitous.
And I agree too, and that was completely disgusting.
Yeah,
I agree
and
too.
that's
I'm with y'all.
It's a spirit that you are inviting into your people do not realize. Before I even came on air, I used essential oils, prayed, and anointed my body. People have no idea of the spiritual effects. Spirits attached to your electrical field. And they can literally pop into you and they can make you do things where you lose time and you have no idea what you're doing. So why would you put images of young little girls twerking into your mind? It does affect you spiritually, and you will be accountable before God Almighty. Everybody will.
Amen. I like it with the accent and everything. All right, Doug said, it's sad to hear people try to justify why watching exposing and child porn is okay. It's simply disgusting, and there is no middle ground.
No, it's a line in the sand.
Now, what about what's your guys' take? Hey, Billy, thanks for calling in, Billy.
Thanks, Billy. It is interesting. It's really interesting to me how men, and I'm sorry, but I have to put this together. So there's Susan and I, and we're like, do not watch it.
Here comes another stereotype.
Yes.
Get ready.
Here we go, guys. Hold on to your damn seats. But we are saying, do not watch it. It's exploiting our children. It's terrible. It's sexualization. It's child pornography.
I don't think Billy was saying don't watch it.
But you watched it, and you're a grown middle-aged man. Billy watched it, and he's a man. And Billy's just like
okay,
Billy
but
justified it.
You're attaching like things that are not fair to attach to that. Like we're perverted because we're watching it.
No,
that was not the intention. I'm not speaking on Billy's behalf, but I'm just saying out loud.
All right,
that was not the intention.
Let me say this. Tim and Billy are some of the greatest men I've ever known. They are definitely not perverted. I love them to death. I'm just saying it's interesting. And I feel like it's the difference between man versus women.
Or between fear versus not fear.
And I think it's a mama
What?
bear. It's a mama bear thing with women.
We're fear versus not fear?
Okay, what scares you the most not to watch it?
Because it's exploiting children, and I'm going to do my part to protect the voices that cannot speak, and it's up to you as an adult to do the same.
Yes.
All right, okay, so, but wouldn't you want to, why couldn't you say this? Why couldn't you say the same thing you just said after you watch it to really understand what they're saying and even be more passionate about wanting to boycott it?
And again, it's through intentions. That's what your whole network is about, is intention.
Yes.
What is your intention to watch a pedophile show that's twerking young little girls? What is the intention?
I'll tell you,
People are hiding behind bringing awareness. It's bull.
I'll tell you my intention
Ashley,
is.
where's my coffee?
I'll tell you my intention is. My intention is actually to be able to talk about it today. You know, so I think this is something that we need to not worry about coffee right now, Shannon.
I found it. Yes, we do, because it's Shannon McVeigh. Okay. Sean said, I started watching Cobra Kai last week on Netflix. I'm a huge 80s nerd. For me to cancel my subscription right in the middle of that series was huge for me. Needless to say, I had no idea what Cuties was about until last week. My 13-year-old son showed it to me. I immediately asked myself, with all the pedophilia controversy and issues going on, how can they even release this? I have officially boycotted Netflix. Good for you. And he just said it perfectly. Do you think there's something more? Because I always talk about spiritual warfare.
Yes.
So do you think that there's something to the timing that's going on of when they put this show out?
Absolutely, I believe that too. I think the whole situation of normalizing certain behaviors that are considered deviant, like certain sexual behaviors out there, throughout the decades has been planned out and laid out and then promoted. I mean, do you think, honestly, 20, 30 years ago, we would be okay with somebody being dressed up like a baby, adult being dressed up with baby diapers on?
He's obsessed with that.
Thumb? Or I'm just saying, would you now that's considered normal, or you don't want to judge that? But 30 years ago,
you can go ahead and judge that, people. It's fine.
30 years ago, they would be put into an insane asylum. You know, and same thing if you want to even go back to being gay. You know, you go back to where.
What do you think about these female superheroes in half naked clothing? And our little girls look up to them. Do you think that that's bad?
It's a programming. It's
programming
their mind. The CIA is really good at MK Ultra.
The CIA, didn't they coin the term conspiracy theorists?
It's all to slander the people that, like myself, I'm a former whistleblower. They want to do anything to discredit me in the eyes of the public. If you're an influencer and if they don't like your message, there's 6 families that own the media.
Right.
6.
That's it.
Okay,
and you think you have all these choices. You don't.
Let me say this one thing here quick before we go into other things like emails, things like that, is that the riding the fence in reference to censorship is a very tricky place to be, and I'm very concerned about that because I'm a libertarian at heart. I believe in free expression, whatever it may be. But there's also a fine line between a certain morality of a society and the destruction of the society through the demoralization of the process of it, deliberate demoralization process of it, not a thoughtful process of responding and thinking it through, right? However, if I didn't know that there is a Luciferian agenda to try to rob our innocence of our children, I'd probably be a little more open-minded about certain things. But since I know that to be true, for me, I know that to be true, I could see how we're being marched down this road of allowing anything happens and allow it to happen, and then we lose our compass. We lose our guidance, our moral guidance compass, and everyone has one. You know at the end of the day what's right and wrong. You can rationalize or justify it, but most people know that's just, it doesn't. When they get that feeling, it doesn't feel right. Like if anybody watched the movie Cuties and you got that feeling, you ignored it. There's a reason why you had that feeling. And this doesn't seem right.
It's a God thing. Yeah,
it's called the Holy Spirit going, no.
Yeah.
You have to realize when you're fighting this satanic cabal system that owns the media, that owns your government, that owns the religious organizations of the world. They're trying to go into a one world organization. If you realize these satanic people literally feed off you like a battery, and they are trying to take the energy and the blood of our children as their pagan rituals. And when you see that and you feed your energy into supporting the show like that, you are playing right into the cabal
you're playing right into it.
System. And you are bringing, and when you view, you're bringing viewership, which means money. Christians, you better speak up with the word of God in your pocketbook.
Well, Susan, I understand that when you say Christians, but this is not a Christian.
No, but she's holding
solution.
People accountable because as Christians, you should do better.
This is a human solution.
It is a human solution. However, if you want to be a hypocrite, like so many, okay, this is what I'm going to say, guys. You know that I love God. I love Jesus. I love the Holy Spirit. I cannot stand the church right now. I'm in that stage because I'm like, it's all a bunch of hypocrites, even though we are all hypocrites to some extent.
I don't do organized religion.
Yeah, I can't handle the organized religion. But what she's saying, I feel, is like, if you're saying you love God, it's time to step up and to be a voice because we're so quiet. I'm so tired of being the silent minority.
Who is going to protect our children if you don't step in and go, look,
She's
you
got
are
so much
not.
passion about this.
Girl, I'm fired up. Because I'm a mama bear.
Yes. Right. I got to read some comments real quick.
And I don't even have children, and I'm a mama bear.
That's good for you, Susan.
All right. So, and I want to hear about what you do, but I don't know if we're going to have time.
Yeah.
Stephanie said, I watched the show because I'm an activist and fighting for it. I could only get through a half an hour, though.
Because her spirit
However, I
grieving.
needed to know for myself, which helps me fight this and have an intelligent rebuttal to it all. You cannot make a video about the sexual exploitation of children by sexually exploiting children and make it.
Thank you.
Bravo.
Bravo.
Doug says, I believe people idolize their TV and don't want to sacrifice their worldly desires over what is right according to God.
And what does God say? Be not conformed to the world, but separate.
Yeah.
We are seeing the separation of the wheats and the tares, the mask wearers, the non-mask wearers, the fear mongers, the lovers. You're seeing the separation.
Speaking of,
be separate.
Speaking of, did you see those mask wearers going to Target singing, "We're not gonna take it"?
No.
I love it. All right, we'll play it for our news segment. All right. Billy's brought up a good thing, or a good comment. He said there is not one single father figure in that movie. That's interesting. He said Satan's job is to destroy the family.
Oh, amen.
All right, guys, we got to get into these emails now. We're going to shake it up a little bit. Do you have anything else you want to say before I get into it?
I think I'm looking forward to John Paul Rice coming on in about 10 minutes.
John Paul Rice, he is going to really educate us because he's in that world. He's in the Hollywood world, so I can't imagine what this guy's seeing.
And he probably played along with it back in the day and had a revelation, I think, and realized that he's going to live a new life, to whatever degree.
Yeah.
You do realize Hollywood is full of pedophilia, though.
Well, we're going to ask him. We're going to learn all about it. But I do have to say this, guys. He's coming through our Zoom right now, and I can feel his energy, and it's good energy.
Yay.
Good, solid energy. I'm talking about feeding like batteries. I'm sucking up his energy. All right. Emails. First email. Do you guys think it's possible for parents to recognize that their child isn't attractive, possibly even ugly for that matter? What? If it's possible and you guys had ugly kids, would you tell them that they aren't pretty? No, this is a terrible email.
Would you never seen an ugly baby before?
No, all babies are perfect and precious. Never. Have you? You're a man. I'm sure you have.
And it's all about spirit. Aren't you supposed to develop the mind, body, and soul of a young person?
Listen, if you're a parent, though, and you think that your child could be ugly, what does that say about your heart? Because,
And what does that say, what you see through your eyes?
That breaks my heart. This email sucks. Sorry. Sorry, I'm judging you. I can't help judging apparently today. I'm
My
sorry.
God,
apologize.
poor person.
Poor Tim. We got all this female energy.
I was hoping we were going to have some cool, fun emails. That depressed me. All right. Would you have anything to say to that?
Well, I would just say that it's beauty's in the eye of the beholder, of course. But there is going to be a standard in our society that person will be judged collectively. And I do think...
if you're a parent, would you think your child is ugly?
No, I'm saying, is there, as a parental role, do you want to talk to that child? Maybe not say that, of course, you never say that they're ugly, but you could talk about how in society you will be judged. And you will find people who are considered what's normal or what's considered beautiful or cute or, what's the word, pretty. Right?
Don't say pretty, guys. Pretty means not quite beautiful. Okay. So never say pretty.
Okay, but you see, my point is that you gotta prepare them to a certain point of expectation.
Yeah, it's kind of like the American Idol. When you think your kid can sing and you tell him he can sing, and then he goes on American Idol and mortifies himself in front of the nation.
Well, the same thing.
You gotta be like, honey, maybe that's not what you're good at.
That's not your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Talking to the mic there, Susan.
It's not your wheelhouse.
So let's listen. And also, when somebody's very beautiful child, you know, there's certain things I think you'd want to talk to them as a parent, because I'll tell you what.
I was told I was the most beautiful baby in the hospital, and look how into myself I am. So maybe you have something to that.
Narcissism reigns. Narcissism reigns. But my point is that you know, a lot of times beautiful people in the normal society, they get a free ride, or they don't learn certain challenges, right? They don't learn how to have to really work hard because things are given to them. Everybody wants to appease them. A lot of people want to do things for them. And that's because of the perception of what we consider beautiful or not. So I think there's something there. And I think if as a parent, you need to talk to your child about that as well.
But not tell them that they're ugly.
No. But you want to focus on their inner
Stephanie said your physical body is less than 1% of the totality of you. Yes. You are 99.999% energy, frequency, vibration, spirit.
And we never die. Energy never dies, but transforms.
Yeah. Wait, Corwin says beauty is in the eye of the beer holder.
Beer goggles.
Oh my gosh. All right, next email. Number 2. Who has been your favorite guest that you have ever had on Awaken Atlanta? Is there someone that stands out to you in particular?
Wow, yeah.
Ooh, you go first.
I'm thinking.
Do you have one that you've seen on Awaken Atlanta?
Let's see. You've had some pretty powerful anti-vaxxer medical freedom activists here.
Well, listen, John Paul Rice may be one of my favorites. We'll see in the next half hour.
He's never been on Awaken Atlanta.
I said he may be. I said we'll see.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm like you're.
Yeah, and also I had some really good one. I really enjoyed the Dirty John ladies. They were fun.
Oh, you pissed them off. They wrote a letter being appalled by Tim. No. Did you hear that? Tim made him mad. Because Tim's like, I'm sorry, but don't you feel mom guilt that you almost got your daughter killed? Like, isn't there a time?
Number one, I didn't say that.
Yeah, but he said it in a very passive aggressive
No, she's a 50-year-old man, 50-year-old woman.
Man.
She's a 50-year-old woman who should know. You should know better on reference to not being manipulated by these poor guys. But she didn't like that. So.
Tommy Ray says, you can do whatever you want when you sexy. There is truth to that, too. When you're easier on the eyes, you can get away with a lot more. Why?
And you also become like an entitled attitude, because when people bow to you and give you everything,
I see you.
It's entitlement.
I am not entitled.
No, Shannon has a beautiful soul. If she didn't, I wouldn't.
Shannon does have a beautiful soul, but she does come across a little entitled. I hear. I don't know from my personal experience.
I was just texting somebody. They were saying like it's like a unicorn if you have it all. Like basically beauty brains money, and I'm like, why can't a person have it all? Like, why? Do you think you should settle? Do you think you should settle?
No.
Do you think you can find it all in a person? Tim Ray, do you? You do.
That's why I'm not married yet. I'm still looking for him. My Boaz is out there. Yeah,
my
Boaz. I won't settle.
Do you know what that is?
No, I have no idea.
It's a biblical
Bible.
Hey,
Susan, let's tell real quick what you do. People can find you because we got to wrap this up.
All right. I'm actually Eden's Living TV. I'm a naturopathic life coach. I have lost 150 pounds and all 14 drugs, and I was a biotech cardiovascular respiratory specialist in the pharmaceutical arena. They almost killed me, and now I'm like, okay, my job in life is to teach people alternative healing, heal the mind, body, and soul, and get that electrical unit around your body full of passion and energy. I don't want to be
I love her.
Yeah, I don't want to be just optimal. I want to thrive because God has a passion in you.
That's
and
right.
Everyone, no matter if you're ugly, you got a gift that God put inside you. And if you develop your spirit, you are a beautiful person.
Oh, I love that. And she's right.
Beautiful person.
We all have that inside of us. And if we just live out our purpose, because whatever desires you guys have to do in your life, that's probably your gift from God. You should probably explore it a little bit, right?
Yes.
And everyone has a story and gift.
Robert's so funny this morning. He goes, did I just hear Shannon was sexting someone because I said unicorn? Because unicorn means, what does that mean in sexting world?
I don't know.
That means like you can have a threesome, you can go both ways. What does that mean? Somebody.
I think it's bi. I think you're like transgender.
But I think it's like if you're a unicorn in the sex world, like you can, if you're a couple, then you can. Somebody help me.
I don't know.
I have no idea, Shannon.
I do know the unicorn.
No children should ever watch Awaken Atlanta. This is not a show for children.
The unicorn actually is a Luciferian symbol, if you understand it.
Yeah, it is.
Really?
Yeah, it is.
My daughter's room is full of unicorns.
Exactly.
Why do you think they're trying to put the
unicorn? Because they're mystical and beautiful. That bums me out. Why do they have to have everything?
They ruin everything.
Yes. Swingers stole pineapples.
Yes.
The devil stole the owl.
Do you know
Guys,
do you know what pineapples on the front porch means?
You swing.
You swing. queen.
Yes,
guys.
yes, and that's what it means to be a unicorn, I think.
Guys.
We're going to full circle this.
Guys, we're going off the train here, off the rail. We got John Paul Rice. John Paul Rice, Hollywood producer, will be. John Paul Rice, Hollywood producer, will be here in a second. Don't go anywhere, guys. We have so much more to come, and we'll be talking about what's going on with not only our children, what we're doing, and how we're exploiting them. So don't go anywhere. See you in a minute. Welcome to Awaken Atlanta. I am Tim Ray, your co-host with Shannon McVeigh.
Good morning, Awaken Atlanta. We are talking all about periods today. I love that we have a show on periods. I love that you got up so early for us. Thank you.
Girl, the last time I was up this early, I was going to bed.
Yeah.
In the meantime, we have Kathy Kleiner, Ted Bundy survivor.
Raised his arm over his head and slammed it down on me.
Oh.
You are in a building. Basically a studio, a soundstage, no different than what you're in now.
Chenophilia means that you have a thing for turtles.
What?
Yeah.
Deborah Newell and Tara Newell, who are the real Dirty John victims.
Deborah, you're so brave to be able to share this. Not many people would share that experience. What's the name of your book?
It's called The Wrong Kind of Women, Inside Our Revolution to Dismantle the Gods of Hollywood.
What does that mean?
It's up to you and Shannon and your other white brothers and sisters to educate one another when you seeing these injustices happen, when you see microaggressions occurring.
I think you're crazy. You can't get mad at me. I literally think you're nuts. He believes in aliens.
I had an encounter with gray aliens, and all of a sudden the whole house turns lavender, purplish color. And when I turned back around, 2 gray aliens were standing right in front of my face.
You listen to our show, especially on our Good News, and you think, wow, this is the opposite of what mainstream media is saying.
I know.
I mean, so who do you believe?
I want to do better for the black community. I think we need to do better.
And also we'll be talking about the New World Order, what's going on with that, and is it effective right now?
Yes.
We're locked down.
I love that you're shaking your head right now at Tim, because that's what's important here is there's a difference of opinions, guys. We've created a platform for you to speak your mind and your truth. Let's all come together united, right? United we stand with different opinions.
Awaken Atlanta is around the world right now. We're being watched all over the world.
We're going to be awake in America. We're going to be awake in the universe. We have big dreams, people.
The #1 conscious morning show in the world. Awaken Atlanta, guys, only on the UI Media Network. So stay tuned. Until next time, guys.
Thank you for being a part of it. Thank you for waking up for us. And thank you for sharing your opinions.
Mwah.
It's the perfect hour, and the stars are aligned. These conscious superstars are here to brighten your day. Listen to their stories as they connect, motivate, and build you from the bottom up. It's inspiration time with our awakened stars.
Good morning. Welcome to Awaken Atlanta. I'm Shannon McVeigh, hosting alongside my co-host Tim Ray, and we are going to bring in John Paul Rice, film producer, and he's got some things to say about this subject. Good morning, John Paul Rice.
Good morning. It's great to be on with both of you.
I'm so happy you're here, but how should I, do you want me to call you John Paul Rice the entire interview?
No, John Paul's fine.
Okay,
Either way. Yeah.
All right, so why don't you tell us, so you are a film producer. Why don't you tell us kind of a little bit about your background? And
well, tell us about Child's Voice, too, what your movie
we'll get there, kid.
Right. Go ahead, John.
Yeah. So my background in films, I've been in movies for about 20 years in Hollywood. I lived there for 19, and I got started through Remember the Titans here in Georgia. Also, I was able to, about a year after that, I moved out to Los Angeles, and I was able to get a job at a film finance, sales, distribution, and production company called Senator International. Went in on doing JUNO, the GRUDGE, Harold and Kumar. I got to be a part of those productions. I got to do the weekly read, the creative read. 4 years there. And then I started my own company in about 2008, 2009 with Edgar Michael Bravo, produced 6 independent features, the last one being A Child's Voice, which was about human trafficking of children, young children. And we incorporated all of our research in a fictionalized film. This is about a supernatural movie of a child who is ritualistically murdered, but his spirit lives on. And he brings together a young man and a young woman who, in their journey together, in the coming together, stand up to this human trafficking satanic cabal. And it's really a beautiful movie about the voices and the awakening of all children and that message that will help them.
So it's a fiction movie. However, it's pretty nonfiction because you did your research on the cabal and what they do. So you 100% believe that that is happening.
Oh, and I know it. Yeah. And so we just put, like, we went through court cases. We took Franklin's scandal. We looked at testimonies of witnesses, people that had given their firsthand accounts, not just on paper, but also on video. And we put all that together in a movie that, for the average person, when I say average, the person walking into this who didn't know anything about it, you would see disclosure in it. But for those maybe in the truth community, maybe looking to see the whole thing, I didn't want to do that. Our intent was to awaken the people who, for the first time, might be hearing about this or seeing it. And it's really an emotional journey that you get wrapped up in the characters and what's going on with them, as opposed to a documentary, which might be a lot of fact-based information just kind of being distributed.
John Paul, and interesting, and you can share too, is that not only when you came out with this movie, and I think it was an excellent movie, but a lot of people can't see because Amazon wouldn't let you play it on their channels, right?
Right. What happened between the Wayfair and Maxwell around that time over the summer, they unpublished the film from their platform. So they took it off of the United States, the UK, and then we later found that 70 other countries that we were in with Amazon, they unpublished it from those sites. Not all of them, but about 70 countries lost the film
because they don't
overnight.
want people to know basically the truth.
Well, they gave us the standard corporate response because we went to them and said, why did this movie come off? And they said, oh, well, from time to time, our selections change. They gave us a very standard corporate response, non-committal. But the truth of the matter is this, out of the 6 films that we've had on Amazon, this one was on there for a year and a half, and it was in our top 3. So the idea that this film wasn't performing well or wasn't being reviewed or people weren't seeing it is not true. And we have the actual data because I used to go into the dashboard and actually pull down the data and saw that our minutes streamed with this film over the last year and a half had been going up organically. And that's what happened during the Wayfair and the Maxwell time. The minutes started trending upwards just because people were searching online about human trafficking and looking for different sources in media.
It seems like every time people, movies, or even hosts and shows start trending up, they're quickly brought down, whether it's Google, Amazon, the top guys, YouTube. So it's almost, you have to almost come to a conclusion, John, is that there is a Luciferian cabal. Your movie is about satanic ritual pedophilia. This may be the Achilles heel, or this is so common across the world that they have this power and influence to shut down a movie that's fictional.
Yes, and they're doing it not just with ours, they're doing it with anybody that is talking about child abduction, human trafficking, sexual abuse. What happens is this: if they find out that you're not part of the orthodoxy, it's not about whether you're part of Hollywood, part of the orthodoxy, which is, if you just look at the way they message everything, if you go outside of that framework, especially in this time with Donald Trump as president and 4 years of people starting to take a look at this very seriously and ask serious and legitimate questions, you're going to be censored. You're going to be banned. You're going to have your works. I mean, this is not just exclusive to us. There's other filmmakers that I know, once they came out and they found out that they were Christian or conservative, and there was no Christian or conservative agenda in the film, it didn't matter. They shut down their Facebook page. They took off their top recommended. Everything that is not part of that ecosystem is going to be purged, or it's going to be suppressed, or it's going to be shadow banned or throttled. And that's what's happened to multiple movies of friends of mine. And it's not just movies. It has to do with information. Any kind of information about the real true history, anything that raises awareness, anything that points to or implicates anything of their crimes, they're going to go after it heavily. They're going to make sure that it violates the terms of service. They're going to use their bureaucracy to make sure that nobody can get access to that.
It blows my mind what is acceptable and what's censored right now. And I feel like as a collective, people are opening their eyes for the first time ever. But I want to know, do you feel, because if you, with your research and what you did, do you feel like there's a Luciferian agenda before I get into this next question?
Oh, no, it's not like you can say, oh, that's what it is. But when you put it all together with the music industry, with the television, with the way in which I say to people is take a step back and look at the world right now as it is. Nobody wants to live this way, and yet the people in power, I know people use this broadly, but it's like this. You'd have to believe that human beings do this to themselves consciously at a level when you look at all of what we've been talking about and pointing to. It's you ask yourself, well, if it's not true and it's conspiracy, why do you not debate it on the merits of fact? You just label it conspiracy, or you call it right wing, or you call it whatever.
Yes.
And all of the sudden, that's the emotional messaging and identification for which everybody sees through that lens. And I just ask people, look, you got to do your own research. You've got to look up your own. It's for your own benefit to insulate yourself and be aware of how they put their symbolism and their messaging into everything.
Okay, wait. I didn't get to my question. I needed to know that part. So why do you think so many stars, musicians, it's basically in plain sight? They're doing it. We're all seeing it. Even the Tom Hanks thing.
Well, Cuties.
Cuties. But like, why are they doing it in plain sight? And us, we're just not questioning it. We just go along with it.
This has actually been here for a long time with us. It's just becoming more obvious for a number of reasons. But energetically, I know this is going to sound a little mystical, or maybe there's not a reference to give you, but basically they are losing their power. And the reason why we're seeing it so obvious is because you are awake. But for the people who are not awake, who do not realize this, so when you see like Madonna acting bizarre during coronavirus, and she's putting out all of these weird kind of cryptic tweets and videos, those are for her fans. They totally, they have bought into the cult of personality, which is the program. So their emotional identification is in Madonna. And so when she does something, she's releasing energy. She's putting energy that is going into the fans, the fear. They're pumping in fear, anxiety. You just look at the message and you just look at what the net effect is. So when you see it and you and I go, oh my God, like if you go on Ellen and you look at Alec Baldwin, who subbed in for her months ago and showed a montage of children touching the private parts of Disney characters, quote, candid pictures, and showing a series of, they are doing that, gaslighting the people that they know are seeing that and going, oh my God, they're doing it right out in the open in front of us. And yes, they are doing that with an agenda for the audience that it's serving. So for you and I and everybody else, they don't care. I mean, that's just like an added benefit that they can gaslight you. But really what they're doing is they're using it to program further their audience and condition them.
Well, no, you're absolutely right, and it's scary, isn't it?
I never thought of it like that, though. It is because we are more woke, and that's why we're seeing it. Like, what the heck?
And it's censorship is at its finest. Like, we're censored on Facebook and other YouTube. They took our show we did a little while ago off of YouTube, right? Because
they deleted our show.
But yet
they said it violated the terms of service.
But but they'll play Cuties all day long. So we're talking about Cuties. What's your take? What's your take on that film?
So I looked at everything from the director's statements. I looked at all of the media because I wanted to know, and I know how these things work. So taking the director at face value, right? She's talking about this being a bold feminist film. And I watched her interviews, and I'm going to say this. I don't know her personally, so I'm drawing a conclusion about her and her motivations and intentions is really not the point here. They will take true believers. So how this whole thing works is she's a director and she's following a belief according to how she feels about this particular issue. However, if it serves the agenda of the people at the very, very top, I'm not talking about the marketing specialist who's creating all the materials, all of those people feel that way and don't see it as a problem. That's what I'm trying to impart to people. Is like, look, no, is there evil in the world? Yes, there is. Is there a satanic agenda? Yes, you could put that kind of like to the side for a second and look at like how this actually plays out. So even if all of what she says is true, that she really believes it, the people at Netflix and Hollywood, as an effect of who they are, this is the thing. They can't not be who they are. So let's just say they really do see it that way. They're unaware of the fact that they are promoting an agenda that when you sexualize children, okay, on any level, and you market it as a product, you are normalizing it. You are normalizing it, and it's what you were talking about, Tim, earlier about energy, frequency, and vibration. If we start to see the world in those kinds of terms, we can get past the arguments, and you start seeing 2 years ago on Good Morning America, they brought out young Desmond, an 11-year-old boy.
Oh, yeah.
Who's a trans kid.
Yes, we had that on our show.
And they celebrate this 11-year-old boy walking around dressed fully as a woman and strutting his stuff.
Yeah.
And there are people cheering and clapping among adults, okay, in a whole studio of adults. This thing from there to Cuties to SB 145 is all one and the same because the expressions of this are going to come up. When you make the argument that we need to see these kinds of things in order to have a conversation about it, and then look at this. This is what they want you to see. They only want you to see the one side of this equation. Well, of course, it's about the exploitation of girls, and that's what the whole point was. But what is the messaging after that fact? Anybody who raises a legitimate concern about pedophilia or about sexualization of children is labeled a right-wing conspiracy theorist or a QAnon conspiracy theorist. So we're not even allowed to have this debate, even though that's what the point of the movie supposedly is. So that argument falls apart completely. So these people, they don't want to be exposed. I'm going to be very clear with your audience. The thing that they don't want you to think about and know, they want you to think about the Epstein thing as being teenage or older girls and old men perverts. That's where they want you to stop. But when you get to the single-digit age children, this is the part about Hollywood that they are scared crapless about, and that is they don't want you to know about the single-digit age children that they groom. The young girls at Nickelodeon with Dan Schneider, everybody can look into that and see that he resigned about a year ago, and so did the head of Nickelodeon's, the president of Nickelodeon, which was there for 20 years with him. These are the people that brought up Ariana Grande, Jamie Lynn Spears, Britney Spears, you name it. Every Disney star has come through one of his shows, and his stuff that he did, which is well documented, even on his social media, is inappropriate at minimum. And but it's when you get to the older men and the young boys, that's the stuff they don't want you to know. Because the moment you see that, it's over. They do not want you to know that they groom children at such a young age as
the Johnny Depps.
No, wait,
the
time
Johnny
out.
Depps.
Like Corey Feldman, Corey Haim. Corey Haim killed himself, and Feldman came out saying, because you guys have no idea what we went through as child stars. So can you talk about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anytime I mentioned this in my viral video, anytime you see a child star or one of these stars having a meltdown, I'm not talking, I mean, their adult life, fine. I'm talking about these young teenage kids. They are, the pressures of stardom are not the money and the fame, and that's what they focus on. But if you actually look at the reality of why someone would kill themselves with all that money and fame, we just kind of throw our hands up because from our own, our own perspective and lived experience, we kind of go, well, yeah, I mean, look, they create all of the celebrity culture in life as news. So when we're talking about these people, this is an actor, this is a musician. They create art in those fields. But outside of that, it's all the news to keep you conditioned, feeling sorry for them, which is not to say that they don't struggle and suffer. See, this is the thing. There's all legitimate parts to all of this, but it is they give that part up for money. And whether they're aware of it or not, over time, these girls, especially the girls, and to a degree the boys, it's much more quiet. But the girls that you see have these emotional, mental breakdowns, like Amanda Bynes, Britney Spears. Those kids have gone off program. They have
like
broken.
MK Ultra.
Yes, I mean Roseanne Barr talked about this years ago. The disassociative. It's like what MK Ultra is for the people that in the biggest way is disassociation. Dissociative disorder altered personality states. So if you had somebody today that had borderline personality disorder or bipolar disorder, or but disassociation is literally like an altered personality, and with enough trauma as a precondition, if you have people who are in art, in the field of art, sensitive, they come from, I'm not condemning them, but they all come from broken homes, a lot of them, or some kind of struggle in their life that put them in a creative field that they were wanting to create, not be a lawyer, doctor, this sort of thing. So they want to go and express themselves, but in this system, they prey on that and they will use that to control that person. So when you see Britney Spears having a meltdown like 10, 15 years ago and whatnot, that's not because the money and the fame and the power. This has to do with a girl who has been heavily sex trafficked in the industry. And she is not the only one. They have girls who were victims of pedophilia who later become sex slaves, and then they use those girls to go out and recruit other people for the stars.
And so you're saying, and you don't have to name names at all, but you're saying there are some major Hollywood stars, women and men, who to this day are being used and abused in these Bohemian Grove sex scandals, Luciferian experiences.
I tell people, just go look at what's out there. You have NXIVM, the NXIVM cult with Keith Raniere and Allison Mack.
Yes.
Okay. And that went to court, and there's all sorts of information that you can look into that. But more importantly, you don't know, maybe most people don't know this, is that they were sending girls from Epstein's group over to NXIVM.
Wow.
So it's a club that everybody's got their own little nest in.
Would that be like the bloodline?
It's a network.
Is that like the bloodline, though? The evil bloodline? Like, that's what I feel like it is, because they're all in cahoots like that.
Jay, I have a lot of friends I've met over the last several years, and I've done my own research. I don't just say this out of belief, like lightly. The bloodlines are real. Those are the people that have lived and existed for hundreds and thousands of years. They've interbred through the families. I mean, you can look at history in the church, in the King of England, all of this. They keep the bloodlines going because it's not so much the lineage as it is what it represents, is that satanic bloodline, the DNA that they have carefully protected is the ultimate prize. And they want to keep it as pure as possible.
Well, for many people watching, hearing this for the first time, John Paul, and I know you've been speaking about this, but not always. I mean, you were kind of really engaged in the Hollywood for years ahead of time.
Yes.
So when you first kind of woke up to that, it must have been very much a shock to you. You can imagine when other people are hearing this for the first time.
Yeah, it took me, yes, the election of Donald Trump, and this is not so much about him as just the disruption of reality, right? The reality that I understood life to be was there was a hole that was blown through it. And I was terrified when he was elected. I was.
Right.
Because I had believed all of the things that the mainstream media had said about him and characterized his campaign as. And after seeing what they did to Bernie Sanders, which doesn't make me a communist, but just seeing that Bernie Sanders hands down